Hey guys, I just wanted to say before the video starts that I wanted you all to go check out MotherCreepypasta. She is a very good narrator and she helped me out with this collab. I've been lurking on this sub for a while and wanted to share my story. It was Thanksgiving 2011 and I was celebrating at my grandparents' farm in the little town of Sevilleville, Florida. It's north of Deland. I had way too much to eat that holiday and was about to leave to drive back to school in Tallahassee. I stopped at one little gas station in town to fill up before getting on the highway. I had just finished filling up when the lady walked up to me. She was really ratty looking with crazy blonde dyed hair. But this is the backwoods of Florida, so no judgment. There were really kind people who looked like that in those parts. She started talking about me how her car had ran out of gas. She pointed to an old junker parked over near the convenience store, and if I could possibly give her some cash to get home. I usually don't say yes to things like that, but it was Thanksgiving weekend, so I was feeling extra generous. I told her that I'd be happy to fill up her car a little to get home. Then it started getting weird. She kept insisting I give her cash, and her car was so empty she couldn't drive it to a pump. I don't know why I didn't leave right there and then. I was in a very good mood. I told her if she had a gas can, I would put some in, but I didn't feel comfortable giving her cash. She kept objecting, but eventually went over and pulled a gas can from her car. I started filling it up. She put her hand on me and said, "Do you have a girlfriend?" I told her no, politely. She said she wanted to pay me back somehow for the gas if I wanted to come to her place. I told her no, less politely. She kept touching my shoulder, thanking me, and then offered me a blowjob behind the station. So I stopped the gas pump, got in my car, and left her with the gas can. I called my mom a little later and told her about the creepy, sleazy encounter. She paused and asked me if this lady had ratty blonde hair and looked like she was on drugs. I confirmed that. Yes, that was what she looked like. And how could she know that? This lady was apparently all over the news. She was a prostitute in town and had been at a party earlier. In exchange, had gone south, and her baby had been kidnapped by a client of hers and left under a bush in town. She hadn't even bothered to call the police about the missing child until later. They were both arrested and charged.
I've always wondered what was behind the other doors in Nightmare Before Christmas. Mostly Thanksgiving, and I think I've got it figured out. Thanksgiving World is a world that holds more horror than Halloween World. It's a world of sacrifice, worship, gluttony, and war. Based on clues from what we see in Halloween and Christmas World, each world has a godlike icon represented by what is on their door. For Halloween, it's the pumpkin. The door is shaped like a pumpkin, and the sun is in the shape of a pumpkin. Jack Skellington is like the Pumpkin Pope. He is called the Pumpkin King, but he is not the pumpkin, like the one they truly worship. In Christmas World, it's the tree, as shown on the door. They worship some kind of tree god. The sun is probably shaped like a tree. The tree represents all that is Christmas, and Santa is held in the same capacity as the Christmas King, the ultimate spreader of the Christmas spirit. So on to Thanksgiving. The icon, as shown on the door, is a turkey. The sun is probably in the shape of a turkey, and they worship a turkey like an entity. The difference is, there is no other iconic figure to hold up that pope-like position. Unlike most other holidays, Thanksgiving doesn't get too much representation. It can't be a pilgrim, as most inhabitants of the town are pilgrims. A cornucopia? No, a cornucopia can't really be animate in the way a skeleton or Santa can. So what happens? The pilgrim inhabitants of Thanksgiving would believe their turkey god takes the form of a physical turkey every year, to be worshipped, and sacrificed. The year-round preparations of Thanksgiving World revolve around worshiping and preparing the turkey. The turkey is force-fed sacrifices and soaked in a constant brine. The thing is, Not everything it is force-fed is food. The worshippers are constantly thankful, as is the spirit of Thanksgiving. They are thankful for literally everything that happens to them, and they sacrifice almost everything they receive to the turkey out of thankfulness. This includes crop and livestock, but it also includes those who were ill and had their lives mercifully ended by means of death, the occasional firstborn, and all other things terrifying. These are all force-fed to the turkey. After a year of torturesque force-feeding and brine-soaking, it is obvious that the bird itself is finally killed and devoured in the form of a giant Thanksgiving meal, reminding the pilgrims that being constantly thankful pays off in the end. But there is one more thing. In Halloween world, we see that there exists an abnormality. This is the boogeyman. He goes against the norms of his society, partaking in acts so evil and heinous that not even the Pumpkin King himself wants him involved in the yearly worship of their god. The boogeyman is kept to his own devices, allowed to exist as long as he keeps to himself. In Thanksgiving world, this group exists in the form of a revolution. Whether it's Indians or rogue pilgrims, they are out there, and they don't agree with what happens to the yearly turkey. Instead of spending their year prepping for one big meal, offering constant thanks, they are prepping for a Thanksgiving Eve battle. They build, organize, and train troops, and even stage some guerrilla attacks on the Thanksgiving colony to feel out defenses and try to weaken the enemy's morale. Come Thanksgiving Eve, they launch an all-out attack on the colony. So far, the colony has always won. Hence, the Thanksgiving meal is not only a show of gluttony and thanks, it is a meal of celebration. Amidst a town littered with dead bodies, severed limbs, and blown-out organs, the feasters bathe in the blood of their beaten foes. Come the next day, they will clean up, snatch another turkey, and start it all over again.